Yay. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jessie, and I'm very, very excited to be here with Heather Gunther, who is a psychotherapist and a nervous system coach, teacher, mentor, and many other things. But that's the fast intro because we are just going to dive right in and get started. Well, before we get started, I know Heather because I have taken a number of her nervous system trainings, including accessing equanimity, the path of the horse, which is a workshop where we work together with horses to learn more about our nervous systems. I've taken it twice. I would take it 27 more times. It is so enriching and such deep, deep work. I've also been in Heather's mentorship program for practitioners. So PTs, OTs, doctors, naturopaths, whomever's who will work with patients. And she teaches ways to really enhance your practice through nervous system regulation for your own self and co-regulation with patients. So since I've known Heather, like I've learned so much and I'm so excited to share her with you all. And so, without further ado, Heather, do you want to say anything? Just a quick hello, and then I'll ask my first question.
Well, first, I want to say thank you to you, Jessie, because you and FSM changed my life.
Hmm, awesome.
And I say that with complete sincerity. So, just a little bit about my story that, I've had whiplash, been in many car accidents, and the body that I have, I ended up having a lot of scar tissue around my vagus nerve. And I didn't know that. And even though I'm a psychotherapist and a nervous system coach, I had to work my butt off to be regulated. And I did not realize how hard I was working or what was going on until I came to you. And working with the FSM and being able to remove the scar tissue from my vagus nerve was literally a night and day difference. I went from working so hard to try to get hold of myself and my system to just being able to think about it, and I could get my mouth to water, right? And I could get that parasympathetic rest and digest happening. And that was because of FSM and because of you and your amazingness in how you see the body and you understand all of the intricacies. So thank you.
Feelings are mutual. We're just here for each other, I guess, which is great. And now I hope the rest of the world can learn about the amazing things that you do. So thanks for that, Heather. And um, yeah, it's like we learn from each other, and that's the most amazing, fun, enriching experience ever. So yay! So let's just like get started. So my first question for you is if there was one thing that every frequency specific microcurrent practitioner should know, what would that one thing be?
And it's actually two things.
Awesome.
So here are the two things. The first is that um, we are not here to rescue our clients. We are not here to be their saviors and bring them the FSM to transform their lives. Our role is to empower. And I remember the first time I learned this lesson, I was doing experiential ed. I had just done like ropes courses, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was having dinner with someone, and I was like, there's nothing better than that feeling when, someone's like down the Alpine Tower, they're on like 40 feet in the air, and they come down and like, oh, there, I could never have done it without you. And this guy looked at me and was like, you realize that's not the opposite of what your job is, right? And I was like, huh? And he was like, the job and your role as an experiential educator is for them to get done and go, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And I did it. That is what makes the difference. When someone comes to you and you get to say, and they get to say, I healed myself. I did that. I had the intuition. I knew you were the right person to help me to help myself.
Mm. Amazing. That's mind-blowing because we as practitioners probably are practitioners because we like to help the people and kind of partly be responsible for, yeah, the thing. And I love this perspective because it makes me think, oh, how can I show up in this practice where I'm hooking people up to leads and deciding what frequencies are correct for that specific pathology while maintaining that empowerment. And at least from how I'm thinking of it, it's it's kind of what Carolyn McMakin says. She says, like, if you listen, your patient will always tell you what they need. And and this I think speaks to that a little bit. In that, yeah, it could be they walk in the door, get on the treatment table, and are just like passively there for a treatment session, right? But the powerful change that can happen is so much more than just getting hooked up to a frequency protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Disempowered people don't heal. They actually can't heal because you can't be in a state of health if you're disempowered.
Yes. Wow. Hmm.
And so if you're in a position where you're passively laying there, receiving this thing, feeling out of control, feeling at the whim of someone else without agency, that is not a state of regulation. That is not a state of health. That is not a state that can heal. And if we don't help our clients get there, they just go from you to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, to the next person.
Which is like everyone I've ever seen has been to at least three other practitioners before me and sometimes 27 others. Yes, totally.
And they're spending thousands and sometimes six figures, right? Trying to reclaim their health, which they don't have because they feel disempowered.
Yeah, wow. This makes me think the entire medical institution is completely based
Yeah.
off of that design, that model. Yeah.
Which is my second point. Nothing changes until we have a neuroception of safety.
Mm.
That's Alan Shore's work, right? Alan Schore is a therapist who realized that it's the relationship, right, that allows us to entrain our system when we're infants into having access to what regulation feels like, what safety feels like. If we can't help ourselves feel safe, we can't be healthy.
Wow. So, neuroception of safety, can we just define that for people who maybe haven't heard that term before? I mean, you kind of did just define it, but just a little more explicitly.
Like how I like to break it down. It is your cells feeling safe, and it's you having the perception of the safety of your cells.
Beautiful. I like that we're talking about the cells
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
like, that's the language we talk in FSM world. It's like at the cellular level, we're eliciting these changes potentially, but you're adding this other element of the cells feeling safe from sort of an emotional regulation, nervous system perspective. Say it again.
Embodiment.
Embodiment.
Without embodiment versus, say, spiritual bypassing, right? So the first time it clicked for me, I was in a coaching program and I was coaching someone, and I was already a psychotherapist at this point, and I already had, my tools and things like that. And this woman understood, right? The heart-centeredness. She understood the spiritual pieces. Like she had those perceptions, but she had been hit by a truck. And so her arm, right, where it had been damaged in the accident, did not feel safe. Her cells did not feel safe. And it wasn't that we needed her mind, right, to be able to help her. It was her body that had to feel safe. And I remember saying to her, okay, I want you to actually touch your arm, touch your cells, connect to your cells. And can you comfort them? Right. And she had the tools, right? We were able to work through, right, creating that perception of safety, right? What are the colors? What are the sounds? What are the smells? What are the tastes? Right? Orienting to our perceptions and making connections to how each of those, like, we perceive or connect to safety, right? From our own lived experience or imagination, and bringing that into the cells. And she was able to use her hand after that and her arm.
That's amazing. That's miraculous.
The cells need to feel safe.
Hmm.
And we will never feel safe unless we are in our bodies. And so it's the thing that I wish every healthcare practitioner knew, that health comes from embodiment and empowerment. And neither of those happen unless we have this neuroception of safety. And any client that's coming to you is not going to get better without that. Okay.
Yeah, wow, this is I think this is profound, and I feel that this is maybe a piece of, well, all of medical school, and even a lot of our continuing ed after medical school is just completely lacking. And it's almost like this is the key that, yeah, as you're saying, gets people 100%, or to that place of feeling better. Um, and yeah, this is pretty much completely lacking in much of the training that I've done. Um, hmm.
And I would say it gets us to the place where we can start self-healing,
Yes.
have the ability to fight off diseases, to fight off viruses, to be able to navigate, right? Like my clientele, like in my personal private practice, right? The people that I end up coaching, right? The adults, have been to everybody, right? And so they often have so many diagnoses, like mast cell, fibromyalgia, chronic inflammation, autoimmune diseases, Lyme disease, sometimes all of it, right? They've been to everybody, right? And across the board, there's a feeling of, I'm not safe. And if you're not safe, you're also probably not in your body. And if you're not in your body is being run by a puppet master versus someone who's actually there helping you feel safe. And it all comes back to early relational trauma. But you don't have to go into relational trauma in order to get a neuroception of safety. Like, you don't have to be a psychotherapist. In fact, I see people transform faster with coaching sometimes than with psychotherapy, because we're not about reliving it. It's about, I'm not feeling safe. What are the tools and resources to help feel safe? And every healthcare practitioner can help someone with that.
I love that so much. It's so empowering for like all parties involved because I'll be honest, I was prepping for today and I was like, well, I'll ask Chat GPT what are some questions I should ask, for blah blah blah, right? And it came up with it was all of these about like when to refer out to a psychotherapist. And I'm like, I'm not asking for or like whomever. It's like when to refer out was a lot of the questions. Like, no, I want to know like what can I actually do in the moment? Like that's what's missing from my education in medical school. That's what's been missing all along. And and I do have people that, you know, been to the been to somebody for like 27 years and aren't making big progress with their therapy or whatever. Yeah. So,
You laugh because I'm doing a horse breath.
yes, love the horse breath.
Yes. And And what you're saying, the reason I did that horse breath, that nervous system regulation tool, right? I've also got, something for my hands too, is because I feel dysregulated when I hear, right, that people are just retelling their stories for years and years and years. That doesn't help us move forward. What helps us move forward, which is what every parent, every healthcare practitioner, every teacher like deserves to know, which is there are simple ways to grab hold of ourselves and to create safety. And it's not complicated, right? Jessie, have you ever caught a yawn?
Like tried to stop one?
I just caught it, like someone yawned and then you couldn't, and then you caught it.
Oh, yes, yes, all the time.
That is a moment of someone regulating their nervous system. Yawning is one of my favorite ways of regulating. And then it's contagious. So my self-regulation is actually contagious to the tribe, to the community.
I did not know. Just talking about it makes me yawn.
My favorite is when it goes all the way down my spine.
Yay, that looks fun.
Right? That's your body purging all of the stress hormones. We don't yawn when we're being chased by something. We don't yawn when we're in danger. We yawn after the fact.
Yeah, and I just love how you're doing it. And it's like I don't know. I would imagine some people are like, but I'm a practitioner and I don't, yeah, I shouldn't yawn in front of my people because they'll think I'm bored or something like that.
I hear from everybody all the time, right? And so you add in the psychoed pretty quickly. Oh wow, I'm yawning. My body's really releasing a lot of like stress so that I can have more room to be present, which is literally what's happening.
That's so beautiful. And it's like, why don't we know that?
And yet it's so easy for you to walk into the room and go, man, I'm so glad to be here. And I'm just going to take a moment and like yawn and stress out everything that isn't this moment so that I can be more present with you.
That's so beautiful. I love it. It feels good too.
Uh-huh. Okay. What if that is how we started our sessions?
Yeah. So simple. It's like a tiny thing you can do, and you're educating, you're giving nervous system, like this is, you could bill it as NMR, neuromuscular rehabilitation. Like this is definitely something that could easily be implemented and it doesn't take long and it's impactful. Like I already feel like a little more relaxed and just like present just
It's a,
from
win-
that. Say that one more time.
it's a win for everybody. You, as the practitioner, get to center yourself and you get to choose to be present. You're like, oh, I deserve to be connected to myself, even as I'm serving other people. Right. And you're putting on your oxygen mask first, right? I'm going to take care of myself. And in taking care of myself, as I create a neuroception of safety for myself and offer myself presence, right, and support, it's contagious because yawns are contagious. And then, right, your client gets offered that as well.
Oh, so good. I feel,
And it doesn't have to be a real yawn,
yeah.
right? I haven't had a full yawn this whole time. It's just little micro yawns, right? And that's okay because each micro yawn is relaxing the system a little bit more, is opening and purging and making room a little bit more, right? So you got tears running down your face as the practitioner. You're like, oh no, I can't, right? Another psychoed moment of, wow, my body's really purging all that stress, right? That's what it is. We have 5 different types of tears, and one of them, right, is purging the cortisol, the adrenaline, the stress response, right, out through our eyes, or unfortunately, if you're like me, through your nose. Um, and
Just need some extra tissues. That's okay. Yeah.
you get to normalize it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it
beautiful.
doesn't matter how you identify in the body that you've got. bodies purge cortisol and stress hormones through tears.
So cool.
It's
That's
not
powerful.
a story. It's
Yeah.
just innately knowing how to take care of itself.
Hmm.
And there's nothing like adding a good stretch into it.
Put all my stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny because like I can feel into like if I were watching this interview right on YouTube, I would be like listening to it in the background and like doing five other things because that's how I go. And the invitation is to like stop doing those things and just take a second and be present and be in your body and stretch and yawn.
Yeah. And you can do those 5 things and yawn.
Good point. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can make room for both. And you don't have to sacrifice your productivity in order to create a sense of safety. And that's what a lot of people are scared of, right? Especially if you're chronically ill. There's a big fear, at least I see that in my clients, right? That while I have the energy, I've got to keep going because I don't know how long this energy is going to last. I'm not sure, right? Like when I'm going to peter out. So I just have to go for it while I can, right? And with that, I stretch and yawn again. Right? That fear perpetuates more exhaustion. Right? And the goal is, can we just add in tiny, tiny, tiny bits, tiny moments of safety throughout our day, right? So that way we can reduce some of that wear and tear on our body. So we have more capacity. And the more we have capacity, the more we can self-heal, the more we can access our nervous system the way it's meant to be accessed. And now I can feel the dripping on my nose.
Yep, I'm wiping my eyes, not because I'm sad, just because I was yawning and parasympathetic response. You're like getting some tears going, getting some fluids flowing. And yeah, this is so cool. Something that you're saying, I just makes me wonder a question because the empowerment of patients or clients of yours, the that what word did you use? Self-healing, right? Like ultimately self-healing. Is that, would you say that's like your mission or your goal as a practitioner, as someone who works with people, or if not, what would you say your sort of like why you're here, like what you're here to do? Um, as a practitioner in the world or as a human in the world.
Oh, wow.
The reason I'm asking is because in the mentorship program, we're like building our mission and vision and just like asking those questions of ourselves. Like, what are you here for as a practitioner? Like, what are you actually like on this planet to do? And so maybe it's putting you too much on the spot, but I'm just curious how you would answer that.
I'm actually going to push back against it, actually, because I I have these big visions for, right, like being able to bring nervous system support and neuroception of safety support into schools. I see how we could bring this, like these teeny tiny little tools into lunchtime in every single school, every elementary school. If we started with like, before we eat, everybody takes a yawn and a stretch, and we like do different tools on different days, right? And we just offered a moment, 60 seconds, right? Or less of nervous system support before we ate a meal for kids, and they got that throughout their education. What kind of world will we live in? What kind of people, right, would we be surrounded by? What kind of knowledge and wisdom would they have access to because they are learning how to feel safe and secure in their bodies. We know we can't learn unless we have the brain centers turned on, right? That are able to receive what we can't receive when we're stressed. And if there's emotional dysregulation, we're not actually taking information in, whether you're in the boardroom or whether you're in the classroom, right? And so there are so many simple ways. And I love that. I love thinking of these things like, you know me, so you know, like I think about the school system and I think about healthcare systems and I think about like the big systems and the big changes. But the thing is, we often make things so complicated that are actually really simple, right? And what it really, for me, the simplicity of it is I'm I'm here to appreciate and enjoy the life that I've been given and to to share my love for the amazing health that our body is, the amazing wisdom of our system with everybody I bump into that's interested. And partnering with whomever would like to be partnered with so that they access that too, but not from a place of like, I need to change the world or the hero complex, right? Because again, I'm not in the role of the hero complex. My job is to see you in your empowerment, for you to forget that you ever met me and just be like, I'm just someone who yawns, right? Because it's not about me. It's not about my goals, right?
I love that. That's so great. And now I'm like, maybe we need to change our little mission statement activity. Because I mean, what I'm hearing you kind of call out a number of times is like this sort of hero complex, savior complex, like this like, oh, I'm a practitioner and I want to help all the people. And instead of orienting to clients from that way, which is inherently disempowering to them because I'm the one helping and doing. Yeah, how can we shift that so that we're just sharing a human experience and moments of presence with each other and, sharing practical, whatever, hands-on therapy, frequency medicine, whatever it is. But yeah, sharing rather than treating or fixing or helping or, yeah, big stuff, Heather. Thank you. So good. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose I'll ask you if there's anything else you are wanting to share. I was gonna ask like, oh, can you give us some strategies? And it's like you gave the yawn and like that's all we really need, right? Like, and I mean, you were holding a ball and you were like doing some other techniques that I know are regulation strategies that maybe you can speak to, but I think the point kind of is like it's way more simple than we actually are making it out to be, which is amazing.
And I'll say that I'm not a fan of the like 7 ways to reset your vagus nerve or any of that stuff because all what I have found is doesn't really work that well because it's all about how you do something, right? It's about the intention and the implementation, right? And if you're like, I'm not okay, this will fix me, you're inherently putting yourself back into that state of disempowerment versus having a relationship with yourself. That's really what it comes down to, right? So when I do vagus nerve work with my clients, right, or in my mastermind and things like that, right, I have them go, where's your vagus nerve? Can you actually be in relationship to it? Can you actually connect with yourself? And it's going to be unique to everybody, right? Because the trauma that creates the dis-ease is relational. And it is only through relationships that we heal. And so, if we're going to heal the relational trauma that's causing the dis-ease, that means coming back in a relationship with ourselves. And we learn that through our practitioners, or we can.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you, Heather. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Like really, really, I think there's so many deep nuggets that you shared in this short time. So thank you. And thank you for all the work that you've done, in your own journey and kind of it whenever I speak with you, I feel like you're just pulling from like all of these different places and like creating this very cohesive little package that's like very integrated. And I really admire that and appreciate it because it's like, wow, it is that simple, which is profound. Like, because we can literally, after like listening to this video, change one thing about how we start a visit and that can change everything. So, so cool.
Yeah. And thank you for asking the questions and for the mentorship and the wisdom that you share. What you do always blows me away. Like you know the numbers and the frequencies and just your intimate relationship with the body is just incredible. So yeah, it's a pleasure to work with you and to connect with you and yeah, this is what I love, right? Like that's why I teach. It's why I have masterminds to work with practitioners and why I do the individual work because I think everybody deserves to have access to themselves.
It's amazing. Thank you. Um, and if people were wanting to work with you, either like what are some of the options? Do you have one-on-ones with or the mastermind, or what's the best way for someone to get started if they were like, okay, I need more of Heather?
Well, I do mentorship. So if you are a practitioner and you're looking for mentorship about how to look at your practice and how you support other people. There's that one-on-one way to do that. If you realize, oh, I could use some of these skills for myself, right? I also do the coaching in that form as well. And then I have my mastermind, which is a monthly way for us to get together. And in that, we do hot seats, which is, I think, so valuable because then you learn from each other and you get to bring up your case to me and we spend 15 minutes working specifically on the case that you've got and then you hear everybody else's cases and all of that feedback and then I do a monthly teaching as well in the mastermind and then as you mentioned I do things like my retreats and my intensives through accessing equanimity because I'm also an equine therapist and I offer the chance to do the deep embodiment work by getting away from everything, right? And spending 3 to 5 days out of your world and deeply in nature with horses, with whales, in water, right? Like there's different ways that the different ways I do retreats because, I'm a deeply connected water person. So I try to be around water as much as possible. So I bring that into retreat form as well. And then I also have a partnership with Eve Ellis, and we do an online training for accessing equanimity, going into the depth of the nervous system and relationship and attachment and the neuroscience and really nerding out. And so if you're interested in like all of that nerding out piece, and that includes some mentorship each month as well for that program. So those are the different ways that you can find me and work with me.
Amazing. And wherever this video ends up, below the video will be links to how to find Heather in all of those places. So thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. It was great chatting with you. We'll hopefully do this again sometime soon. Thanks everybody for tuning in.